You're listening to the Roofing Success Podcast, a show created to inspire roofing contractors to achieve optimal success in their roofing businesses. I'm the host, Jim Moline, the co-author of the book, Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors, How to Triple Your Sales and Turn Your Roofing Website into an Online Lead Generation Machine. I'm also the co-founder of Roofer Marketers, the digital marketing agency for the roofing industry. On each episode, I'll be sitting down with industry leaders to talk about their processes, the lessons they've learned, and how to find success in roofing. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. As always, please share, comment, like, subscribe wherever you're watching. If you're on YouTube, if you're on one of the podcast networks, iTunes, whatever it is, make sure that you support the channel. Leave us a review. And also, if you're interested, go to Facebook and type in Roofing Success and join the Roofing Success Facebook group, where we can continue the discussion of these episodes beyond just the listening here. So today I'm really excited. One of the people who was featured on the CEO panel at Win the Storm this year and who has built an amazing roofing company down in Florida, John Dorosh. Welcome to the show, man. Right from the truck, right from a storm in Winter Park.
Yeah. Oh man, I just didn't have enough time to get back to my office, and I was like, I work in my truck, so I guess I could do a podcast in a truck too.
That's right. We'll do the podcast in a truck, man. This is the Roofing Success Podcast. That is how you find success in roofing, is to be in your truck out there working the storms, right?
Dude, it's true.
So for our audience, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in roofing and formed Nationwide General Contracting.
So if I were to give a Spark Notes version, I started in 2010. I started as a canvasser, and I basically worked my way up. I basically did this job through college, getting my degree. And then one day I just kind of was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. I really like this. So I became a project manager. Then over time, I started managing the marketing department. Then I became a regional manager. Then I became a general manager. We scaled, I believe it was, I think somewhere near up to 40 million a year. And then I got sent down to Orlando to start another office for that company. And, the rest is history. Over time, I just kind of moved on. And that's where we started Nationwide Roofing. We started that out of my garage 4 years ago, and we scaled to effectively a $20 million a year company, even through COVID. We acquired a lot of talent. That was a lot of fun. So it's just been a decade of trial and error.
That's awesome, man. So, with that type of growth that you have going on, what would you say what's your unique selling proposition to your market?
To be honest with you, it's not that unique. And I was thinking about this, like, how would I explain this to somebody? I really like Zig Ziglar, and the man was fantastic. He used to say there's a lot of room at the top, and I was thinking about this. You got your bell-shaped curve and in standard deviations. All you got to do is be on, let's assume, the top 20%, and you're gonna win. You're gonna win really big. I can't honestly tell you we're unique. We might be memorable, and that's my job. My job is to be memorable. So when you think about doing your roof, you think about us. But at the end of the day, I tell people all the time, there are a lot of good roofers who can do your roof. And I always point to the local guys and I say, hey, look, you can choose these guys, those guys, and these guys. I know they're all local. I know they're all good. I think I'm pretty good myself. Look at me. I'm adorable. But as far as unique, all I care about is being a good roofer. And the proposition that I have to my clients is look, you know what? I'll be here later. I will be here to take care of your problems. You're stuck with me. Getting a new roof is kind of like getting a marriage. Honestly, my roof's going to last longer than the average marriage in America. And I'm sorry to say it's a little dark, but here we are and you're stuck with me. Do you want to be stuck with me or not? Because I'm a nice guy. That's my unique proposition to my clients. And they like that. What? It's just honestly, It's upfront, brutal honesty. And I just tell them like, yo, there might be somebody else who can do this job just as well, but I think you're going to like me more. And that's just it.
That's awesome. And you'd mentioned that, part of your job is to get people to know your company, and you guys have done an amazing job with your branding. Can you speak to what went into the process of putting that together?
Well, I view almost everything in life as like charts and graphs. And so imagine it's like a pyramid, like a food pyramid, or like, I don't know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This is John's hierarchy of branding needs. On the bottom layer, dude, there are so many roofing companies, and all of them have that stock photo of a silhouette of a roof. And you can go find it on, go Google roofing logos. And dude, literally 90% of people look the same. And one of my bottom needs is like, yo, you just want to stand out. Why do I have a man bun? Why do I look like a hippie? The answer is simply this: I want you to remember me. When every other blue Smurf or like red shirt, orange shirt, whatever it is, goes by the doors, you're going to remember me. Okay. So as far as the whole branding point, it's that it's be memorable. And so we have a different logo. We have different reps. We have professionals who actually handle these things. We don't handle this all by ourselves. We come up with ideas and we say, hey, this is the direction we want to go in. We have an entire branding team. If I'm really good at roofing and I would think I'm a specialist, I always have a specialist in different fields, whether it's a social media marketing, whether it's a branding person, no matter what. And really, then as soon as you're done, and in my opinion, with the logos, with the vehicle wraps, with, what do your folders look like? What do your flyers look like? Do you have a cohesive brand? Then you get to move on to other cool things. But in essence, it's just being different. If you can look different than 80% of roofers, you will get more business than 80% of roofers.
That's funny that you say that, because I had Dustin Beegler from Apple Roofing on it.
Yeah.
Was he on the CEO panel with you? Dustin's awesome. And Dustin, they're in, Lincoln, Nebraska, and everything in Lincoln, Nebraska is red and white. Every contractor is red and white. Everything is red and white. The Huskers, right? And so when they thought of their branding, they're like, well, let's go this green color, right? Let's stand out. And that's an easy solution. And to the point that, man, every single roofing company has the silhouette of the house. Stop it.
Don't do it, man. All right.
Stop it, please.
Dude, just think about it. Let's do the math for a second. What do you need to be successful? What is a $5 million a year roofing company? If the average roof cost is $15,000, all right, let me try and do my math properly. It's literally $100,000 in roofing a week, which is roughly 7 roofs. And then you have a, top 10% roofing company, because the average roofing company does less than 5 million.
Yeah.
So looking at it, you don't have to be the best. We're not trying to beat CMR here. Let's get serious. We're not going to be Centimark. We're not going to be Tecta. I'm not trying to do that 80 million. I don't even need to be Aspen. You can have a healthy roofing company between 10, 30 million, whatever it is. Dude, you have a healthy roofing company at 5 million. Yeah. So all you have to do is beat the other 80%. When everybody's knocking on the door, it's like one Smurf comes up, knock, knock, knock. Hey, I have the same canned pitch. Next guy knocks up. Hey, I have the same canned pitch. Do you think they're just going to pick your next canned pitch? All I want is that when they have a bunch of marketing material on their table, why would you pick me over somebody else? The entire essence is that what makes us different. Don't get me wrong. There's some people who aren't going to pick you because they think you look too professional and they want Dan in a van chucking a truck. You didn't want to work with them anyway. So I just need, let's get serious. All I need to do is do about 1,500 roofs a year, which is about 30 a week, to get really where I want to be. And so I break it down in the numbers. And as long as I can beat a certain amount of people, we're good. Dude, there are 500 roofers in Orlando. I only need to be top 50, man. That's it.
That's right. That's a great mindset. It is that mindset shifts. That it's an abundance mindset for one thing. Like you're able to you'll have enough by just doing what you need to do in the marketplace for sure. what from a marketing, continuing on the marketing topic, what kind of things have you found that work best for you guys as far as attracting customers or to your business?
All right. Man, you set my mind off. I'm like, all right, I need to explain it like this. So everything is kind of an aggregate of all the other things you have. And in my mind, you have a certain amount of points. I think you get a certain amount of points from having a nice logo. I think you have a certain amount of points from having a nice wrap. Let's assume you get 5 points for having a nice shirt. And then you have another 5 points for not looking like a hobo. So you get all these aggregate points and, you're doing well, but it multiplies because when you have all these things combined, then it all works. So I feel the same way in marketing strategies. I do Facebook. I love Facebook. I do Google. I like Google. I've even forayed into YouTube because I think that's kind of cool. But none of these things stand alone really gets it. I think that when I combine the logos, I combine the wraps, I combine the trailers, I combine the Facebook, I combine the memorabilia, like how memorable we are. Then I combine the fact that, you literally see us everywhere and you see our door hangers. All of a sudden, it takes 7 no's to turn to a yes. So the thing is that for me, I love door knocking. I know it works. I love social media. I know it works. I love telemarketing. I know it works. I know that all of these things work. You know how they work better? When you use them all together, it literally creates a multiplier effect, in my personal opinion.
It does. We just wrote a new book on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Essentially, everything that you just said. We just published it right before Win the Storm. It's really called The Best Known Roofer, the omnipresent marketing framework for your roofing company, essentially, right? And it is that everything works together. They see you here, then you retarget them there. Then they see then you're at their door, and then they see a build going on in their neighborhood, and then they see a sign in the yard, and that's how you just enter. You enter their mindset. A lot of digital marketing agencies will tell you, man, just do SEO or just do pay-per-click. That's where homeowners search first, though, John. That's where they go. And I said, no, they go here first. They go to their mind first. They go to their mental Rolodex first. And if you're already in that mental Rolodex, you get the phone call. If you're not in that mental Rolodex, maybe a storm comes through. Now there's a flyer, there's a Facebook ad, there's trucks, there's a door knock, there's all of those things get you into that mental Rolodex. So I love that, man. And you guys do an amazing job of it. So, that's awesome. Now that you have this omnipresent approach to your marketing. And you said that you want your pitch to be a little bit different, right? You don't want the same marketing material, the same logo, the same pitch. What are you guys doing differently in that regard? How do you differentiate a pitch?
Oof. So that's a loaded question because everybody should always start with the baseline pitch. And it's simply, who are you? So hey, my name's John. Why are you here? Well, there was a storm and the insurance companies or whatever are paying to replace things, or, hey, you have damage. So, they have a problem. How am I going to fix it? Here's my solution. We're doing the free inspections to find out who qualifies. And then you have our forced choice close. So there's always 4 basics and those things never truly change. But as far as once our guys have the baseline pitch being hey, this is how it works. We want them to expand past that. The way I look at it, it's kind of like they're a basketball. We'll do a basketball analogy. I want you to learn how to dribble and shoot and do your layup prior to doing the crossover and everything. So as far as differentiating, as soon as they understand what the baseline is, everybody in the world is offering a free inspection. Let's get serious. They're all offering free inspections. What makes you different? So the answer is, it's really hard to differentiate beyond everybody has their own twist. For me, what I like to do is when I'm talking to them about, dealing with all the neighbors, I say, we have a bunch of segues. We have about 10 segues in the Orlando office. and I say, sir, let's get serious. You don't want to work with the roofer without a Segway. You want to work with the guy with the Segway. And look at me, I'm adorable, and I do this silly stuff. I want them to remember me, right? Self-deprecating humor, I love it. I'm all about it. If I can laugh at myself, maybe I can get them to laugh and break down the wall of ice. But I can't honestly say that, we have this drastically different approach, because at the end of the day, the information's always the same at the base layer. But I asked everybody to add a twist. I want everybody to add a twist. What is something about you that's going to make, what's your twist? What's your little signature move here? And everybody has it. So, there's a different pitch for an old storm, new storm, retail, everything. But whatever they do, you have your baseline with a twist.
That's awesome. And that brings out your authenticity, right? And gets them to like you, right? Or not like you, right? Like they're going to go one way or another.
People buy from people that they like. Yeah. So literally you don't want everybody to like you, because literally you're not going to like everybody. I don't like everybody. Why would I? So I want people who are going to like to work with me, because I'm stuck with them for a long time, and I don't want to waste my time with them if they're not my cup of tea, So with that being said, I want them to like me in a short manner of time. And if they like my little twist, then you know what? Maybe we can be friends.
That's right. And those are the, then beyond that creates more of a relationship. What do you, how do you, do you get, I think that would set you up for referrals, for things like that. What are your thoughts on that?
So referrals literally just means that somebody trusts you. Don't get me wrong. I guess you can get a referral from somebody, but no matter what, if they're handing you somebody else's information, it's because they trust you. It's because something about you emanates this idea that you are a trustworthy or competent professional. The general idea is simply this: if I can get you to trust me and you think I'm a competent professional, then you're going to give me referrals. But how do I get to the point where you think of me as a competent professional? Prior to you giving them some sort of personal trait or some sort of personal connection, you're just some random dude who showed up at their door. So Rodney Webb, one of the greatest sales trainers in America, puts it like this: you have to break down the wall of ice between you and the client. That's why we have the whole twist thing. So how do I get referrals? I get you to trust me. How do I get you to trust me? I have to get you to think of me as different than just some random dude who's on your doorstep. I need to be John. And as soon as I'm John and you are my client, then I will get my referrals. So it all comes down to them trusting you, because, dude, the second they hand off your number to somebody else, they have to eat that. So that means that they have to trust you, because, dude, if you hand out the wrong person too many times, they're going to stop taking your word for, hey, this is a competent professional. So that's why, they genuinely have to trust you in order to be handing you referrals. And I just got to get to that point.
Definitely. And do you guys build anything into your sales process where, hey, we're asking at this point, or we're at least, or are we asking for reviews at certain points of the process, of the sales process, or on production day, or when do you guys ask for reviews and referrals?
Reviews always after the job's done. Referrals probably 3 different times in the process. Okay. Once when you sign the contract, hey, is there anybody else on your street who could benefit from my services? Again, after, during the build, and then finally when you're collecting the final check. But then at the same point, you might want to ask somebody, hey, are you willing to be on my email list? And then, once a quarter, you send out notifications with useful information, and then, they might send you something. We have a referral program where, we'll compensate them in multiple manners in order to get more referrals, and they can just enter all that on our website. So it's a perpetual thing, because being in Orlando, there's always going to be a storm, and you're always going to have a friend who's going to need a competent roofer. And we just want to be that guy.
Definitely. Speaking of that, of the value that you're providing, you're doing a lot of videos and have kind of, I mean, how many shows, like I was looking at your Facebook feed, you have different shows, right? Do you have one show or do you have multiple versions of like different shows?
Dude, I literally just get on the camera and start talking to homeowners. I tried so hard to have it be systematic.
Yeah.
But the truth is that there's always something that is tailored to that point in time. Like I did my Hurricane Michael videos where I was talking to people about, yo, get your windows checked because you might have been losing the argon or the whatever gases inside your windows because of the way it shakes, and you're going to have the broken trim. You know, during Hurricane Irma, I had, oh man, terrible adjusters with emergency insurance adjuster licenses coming in from out of state. And man, that just irked me. You know, if you ever watched Family Guy, the guy, there's an episode where Peter has a show. He's like, you know what grinds my gears? Dude, I just kept hearing that in my head. And I'm like, you know what, dude? There is somebody out there who needs this information because they got indoctrinated into the jingles, like you're in good hands, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Dude, I know all of them. And the truth is everybody knows them. So I do a lot of videos because people want to know who we are. Yes. I think that's really what it is. I think one of the reasons I love vehicle wrap so much and being identifiable is because people don't like the fear of the unknown. So if I can make myself known, there's a high probability I'm going to get a sale at some point. And with the videos, man, some of them are stupid. But dude, it's information. Yo, I have botched so many videos. It's okay though. Like, what are you going to do? But at least it's beneficial information that somebody's come back to me and thanked me for. So one of these days, I'm probably going to make it a little bit more organized. But the entire premise of it was that when people looked up a company, it wasn't just the canned social media post. You know, if you go pay, what is it? If you go pay a social media company and be like, hey, I want you to post Facebook things for me. Dude, it's like, hey, happy St. Patrick's Day. Oh, here's the template that we just repurposed by adding a logo for you, but we did it for everybody else. Dude, it just doesn't work anymore. It might have worked 8-9 years ago, but dude, it's 2021. And so when I do these videos, they're like, oh yeah, I know you guys, the guy with the long hair. It's all about being known. That's it.
Yeah. And that stuff doesn't work. The 3 tips for cleaning your roof and all that dumb stuff that just gets repeated. People want to know who you are and that authenticity. And even if you didn't execute the video like a professional, a professional actor or something like that, hitting every line with the right enunciation in the right places, and who cares, man? They get to know you. And they get to know your brand and your company on a different level. What a lot of people, I think that going forward, video is going to differentiate over the next couple of years. Contractors who do video are they're going to move ahead of contractors who do not, based on the way that the social media is these days. What kind of advice would you give to a contractor who is like, man, I don't want to look dumb on camera. I'm scared of it. I don't want to hurt my brand by getting on camera.
I don't think you can hurt your brand by going on camera unless you were like a crackhead. That's just my genuine look, dude. There are some roofers out there they should not be on camera. But if you were a normal person who genuinely cares about their clients, dude, it's going to do volumes of work. And I guess my advice is just start. Who cares if somebody makes fun of you? It's not your problem. Like, oh man, they think you look stupid. I still got the contract. I don't care. Like, come on, man. Just start and be real. And dude, most of my videos are literally shot with like a Samsung Galaxy or something like that. I started doing that. You know, my video people hated it. They're just like, John, stop releasing non-professional videos. I was like, but you guys take too long. And they're like, but we wanted to look better. I was like, dude, people just want to hear from a human, hear your voice, feel as though that there is somebody on the other end that's not either a corporation or, the opposite, Dan in a van, Chuck in a truck. They just want to feel as though they know you. And then it works better. So simply speaking, just start, make minute-long videos. Dude, talk about downspouts. Nobody cares. Somebody might find that interesting. They talk about 5-inch gutters versus 6-inch gutters. Talk about 7-inch gutters. Talk about copper. Talk about the difference between S-tile or like whatever it is. Like what do you do? Just talk about that. You can do it at a door. You can do it at a door. You can do it at a kitchen table. You can do it on a video. And all the people who are going to hate on you for your videos literally don't matter. And they're just jealous that you're making videos.
And they may be terrible people, just in general.
Dude, let's get serious. The internet's a terrible place where a lot of keyboard warriors live. That's and they're right. Going to say some crap to you and it's going to be real awkward. And you just got to wake up the next day and be like, doesn't matter, made a video.
It doesn't matter at all, for sure. What do you think you'd said, like, you've had conversations with people that are like, oh, that video really, that was really helpful. What has been the impact, do you feel, of the video content that you've been putting out on your business?
It's not, I cannot say we created X amount of dollars. It is not directly quantifiable, but because when people searched the brand and they saw the videos and they felt as though we had an established brand, I would honestly say, if I were to put a number on it, the problem is that whole aggregate mindset. It all kind of snowballed with each other. I guarantee you it makes $1 million a year. That's it. Like gross revenue, not profit. I guarantee it. Like, it's just, dude, when you have 100 or 500 different roofers to pick from and you get to listen to somebody who can actually explain these ideas, that's what they want. They just want you to guide them through the process. And if they feel as though you're a competent professional, like I know I mentioned Rodney Webb earlier, one of the first things that he does in all of his sales processes is establish yourself as an expert. So even my guys have told me it has been easier to sell contracts with the content that I put out on the internet because they like it. When they're second guessing, leaving and not working with you, they might go on the videos and be like, oh, I know about this. Let's assume your guy, like one of the reps is trying to get another contract and they have a rebuttal like, oh, I trust my insurance company. Oh, wait, we have a video about that. And they send them the link, So like I said, not directly quantifiable. It's not like a X to Y and Z type idea, but let me be very clear on this. It's substantial.
Substantial, for sure. It's amazing. What do you guys do? Do you do anything special on build day, production day to to create a raving fan out of that homeowner and to maybe attract the other sales from the neighborhood?
Well, with our vehicle wraps, we try and work our builds. We own, I think, 8 catch-alls, and we have a bunch of wrapped trailers that will park in different zones. We like to knock the general vicinity. And if we have the ability to, clearly we would be running Facebook ads and sometimes YouTube, and it's all of it. That's the thing. Like every single thing you'll be like, hey, well, what do you do here? I don't know, 10 things, man.
That's right. But it is all of it. It's all of it. And it's putting all of those little pieces together, and you don't have to have them all together at once. Like as you're building this thing, how long do you think it took you to get like this many pieces of the puzzle in place? And how many more pieces do you have in mind for the future?
Oh, all right. So there's this book, and let me be very clear on this. I'm pretty sure I only read to chapter 3, but it's okay. I got my money's worth. It was called The Spirit of Kaizen. It's Kaizen. It's this Japanese word for incremental change. And literally in the first 3 chapters of the book, they told me just change one thing a day. do one positive change a day. At the end of 365 days, you will have 365 positive changes. And I just decided, all right, that's what we're going to do here. I am going to wake up every day and try and do one positive change. And I've looked back years later, and I'd say 2,000 positive changes later, here we are. Dude, the thing is, it's literally a culmination of 10 years. Some people are like, well, you clearly couldn't have been doing this that long. Well, yeah, dude, I wasn't that good back then. Like I had to make all those mistakes and then do one positive change and then another positive change, then another positive change. Full circle. I think at least 3 years. Because you can't have it all at once. Think about it. Like, no. For me, you want a nice website. No good website's going to be done in less than 3 months. Let's assume, you want good vehicle reps. You're going to be going back and forth with these things. And you know what? You start that process, it's going to take 3 months, and you're finally going to get them on there. But wait a second, a vehicle wrap's going to take a week, right? So how many vehicle wraps do you want? Let's assume you want 20. It's literally 20 weeks, but we're always doing that. And let's assume, hey, we want to change our voice styler. We want to change our door hangers. We want to change this and that. Everything you do, you know how like if you get contracted and somebody's like, hey, I want you to do this roof, or I want you to do something. You're like, all right, cool. Well, first I have to get my permit, order my materials, order my dumpster, show up, build the job, close it up, then close my permit, collect my money. I have 7 steps. All the professionals that I work with have those steps too. It took a while for us to do the social media. And literally, dude, the social media actually gains traction on itself as you get the retargeting with the pixel, the Facebook pixel. So I don't know, man. It takes a lot longer than you'd think. But the truth is that all you have to do is start. You're going to do well no matter what. Like, dude, who are you trying to beat? I try and beat myself. I was up on that CEO panel with a bunch of people. I literally look at like, dude, these guys are, these are my seniors. I look up to them. They're all 15 years older than me. And I was like, yo, I'm up here with these guys. I want to be like them. So what I'm going to do in order to be like them is over the next 10, 15 years is I'm literally just going to change one thing a day. And, that's all you have to do. You're not competing with anybody but yourself. So just start. That's what I'd say. 3 years.
3 years, one thing a day. And and those small changes will make just an enormous impact over time, right? All just continuously trying to improve. There's never stopping. You kind of mentioned social media a few times. What are your thoughts on social media? Where are you finding the best traction? Facebook, Instagram? Where do you think is, the better platform or I mean, it's all of it, of course, but where are you seeing trends in your social media presence, I guess?
All right. So 4 years ago, I would have told you Facebook was king. Here's the problem. Now every roofer and their dog has a Facebook ad account, and there's somebody popping out the same stuff. It's just kind of gone down in the amount of like return. So it used to be Facebook. Nowadays, I would honestly say it's probably YouTube. That's the thing is most people haven't really caught on yet. But, if you think about it, I actually see guys like Lee Haight and a few others because they're marketing to my house. Because like I live in Orlando and I'll be trying to watch a video on, how to put together a table. And I'm going to see them on my YouTube. And I'm just like, oh, man, like there have actually been people who have sold me on things on YouTube. So that's the new frontier. But, 3 years from now, we're going to be having a different conversation about something else. And maybe it's going to be TikTok. I don't want to touch TikTok, but hey, maybe one of these days I'm going to have to. So
you might, right? And I was having a conversation earlier today with a guy who was like, I want to do TikTok. And I was like, cool, but don't put 100% of your effort into TikTok. Put a portion of your effort. Maybe the content that you're creating for Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, maybe take a piece of that or switch it up a little bit and put that towards your TikTok effort, right? Like make it a more TikTok-y kind of, style video or something like that and put some effort in there. You might gain some traction. You might catch a viral video out of there right now, but I don't think there's people on TikTok buying roofs right now, right? Like, so not as much,
Let's talk about the demographics of it though.
Yeah.
Nowadays, the Zennials refer to Facebook as the
Mhm.
boomer social media. So
Yeah.
thinking about it that way, what person watching TikTok owns a house? They are not my target market. Chances are they're going to be renting for the rest of their lives because I don't know. But with that being said, it's always going to change.
Yeah.
At some point, there is going to be something else, and we're just going to have to catch that wave if we want to do it. The Facebook wave, I think it started 6 years ago, and 5 years ago, it was still gold. Dude, you used to get leads for $7. Nowadays, with the amount of people on Facebook and the amount of roofers trying to target the same thing, it's like cost per click, right? Google, 14 years ago, you used to be able to build a multi-million-dollar business easily, cost per click SEO on Google prior to them changing all their algorithms. But then they changed the algorithms and it changed. And now you have to spend $25 to get like a lead on Google. When back in the day, dude, you'd be spending 50 cents, right? Yeah. So I don't know where the next wave is. I literally don't, but I'm always looking to change. I'm open to any way that would help us get to that next level. And I never really fully cut off any platform because nowadays, look, let's get serious. Facebook is still king on the sense that many older people use it. But how do you differentiate yourself from all the other roofers who are all running those ads on there? Because I've come to this realization that, Facebook is for people, I guess, 30 and older. Like, it's a lot for grandparents to go look at their grandkids, that's what it's used for now. And that's why you're able to target that demographic. But yeah, anyway, like full circle, YouTube is probably the next frontier for the next 2-3 years.
Yeah, I think you're right. YouTube, and that's what you were talking about. You're watching a video. I think you said like building a table or something, and here comes Lee Haight, right? And that's, there are so many targeting options on YouTube that are available that I would guess over the next year or so they start pulling some of those targeting options back, which is similar to what happened with Facebook. Facebook, you used to be able to really target people, and all of a sudden those options started disappearing right in the back end, and now you're just kind of letting Facebook's AI do its thing, and you have to have different methodology in running these ads and stuff like that.
So one thing on that is literally what worked 4 years ago in the algorithm doesn't work today. If you look at why certain social media changed, we had the Cambridge Analytica situation where, Facebook really got hamstrung in their ability to target people. Well, I kind of want my privacy too. So like, I'm okay with this, but it really hampered marketing efforts. Yeah. So with that, the thing is that I don't know when it's going to change again. Every single time Google changes their algorithm, it changes everything. Yo, dude, you could be having really, really good traction. You're like, yeah, dude, come on. We're getting $50 leads. Things are selling. We know who we're getting. But then all of a sudden they'll change their algorithm. And dude, you're spending $150 a lead. You're like, wait a second, this was working yesterday. Same thing with Facebook. Like, dude, they just remove options. There are certain things in the world that will change the way we interact with social media. And it's just not our fault. We don't have a choice, but we just duck and weave. And that's why I always have social media professionals, because, dude, I'm so busy keeping up with building code and insurance companies. I want somebody who's busy being as obsessed with social media marketing as I am with my own profession. Like I want a me in social media, because, dude, I can't keep up with that crap. All I know is that, hey, wait a second, what happened to my cost per lead?
Yeah. And that it changes quick. Like, you're right. It changes quick, and Google makes one change or Facebook makes one change, and it's much different. It's a much different landscape out there. But speaking to our earlier conversation, what doesn't change is doing everything. And when you're doing everything or doing a lot of things, that change doesn't impact you as heavily if you were just relying on that one platform. And so you can absorb those changes. I like Jim Rohn, another old school sales trainer, right? Jim Rohn. One of the things I learned from him is having 5 to 7 lead sources creates consistent lead flow, right? Having multiple lead sources, and so that's kind of how how I think about it in our business and things like that is how many different lead sources can I have? I want to have as many as I can. This one may perform better, but I still want that one because that one is a lead source. It creates that consistent lead flow into the business.
So, if I'd like to say one of the things that I've really enjoyed doing over the years is I figured out I wanted to spend a certain amount of money on marketing. And so I found my number. And it's basically a function of how much revenue we do. So you're always spending a certain amount of money on marketing. And I really want to spend every dollar. You might be tempted to, put it back in your pocket. But what I do today pays me next year. And so dude, I don't think marketing dollars can really be ill spent because it's just like you either win or you learn. And you don't spend money on that. You can just redivert it somewhere else because marketing is always a function of revenue. Your goal is to figure out how much money am I willing to spend to create how much profit. And you know what? I would never fall beneath a certain gross amount of the gross revenue because eventually you'll just kind of fall off.
Yep. Do you base that number off of your revenue goals or your revenue from last year?
I'd say it's the goal.
The goal?
Generally speaking, so, there's diminishing returns on everything. Yeah. So, you can't go put $300,000 in a Facebook and expect $100 per sale. But I think you can put 50 in there and expect $100 per sale, 50,000. I don't, as far as what I want to achieve, generally speaking, I run all my numbers off of this is the market. This is a certain amount of price per square. And we know that we want to create a certain amount of deals in that market. And we're willing to spend X amount of dollars to do that because we know the amount of profit we'll be getting off of these random jobs. And it never factors in what if you get a big guy? It's always off of this bare minimum number. What can we really hope for if we were just going to have to run really crappy jobs? And I look at it as if how much am I willing to spend to make X amount of revenue? And as long as I know I have all those leads, you said 7, man, dude, there's 7. I'm willing to spend all this money across the board on these different, I'm thinking of bar graph in my head, like on these different places. This month Facebook might be better. This month, the social media, like whatever it is, SEO might be better. But I'm going to spend that money because I know that I want to get to the next level.
Yeah, and that's a mindset thing. A lot of contractors are in the lead purchase mindset. So I find that the people are like, well, if I put $1,000 into this and then I get my return, then I'll continue putting the $1,000 into this, right? Per month or whatever it is, like say into Facebook or something like that. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's that 3rd, 4th, 5th month. Sometimes it's the 8th month. Sometimes you're doing really well for 3 months and then your leads dip for a month and then they come back. Or those people from the first month start calling you because they kept seeing you, or there's so many other factors that end up going into that. And when you commit to just spending your marketing budget, you're spending your marketing budget, but that's having faith in the outcome, right? You have faith in the outcome of your marketing, and that, absolutely. A lot of people don't. So,
oh, well,
that's right. That's right. And you probably have faith in your salespeople and faith in your production team and faith, you know what I mean? Like you have faith that everyone is going to execute, faith in the company that you hired to run your social media marketing, faith in that, you have to, there's a leap of faith that happens when you start writing those checks. So,
you know what? but the thing is that I try to know enough about all the different facets so that I know enough to be dangerous, but I can still let you do your job. Because, dude, in order to get to where I was really happy with the social media, I wasted money on like 5 different experts, right? It was rough. But the thing is that I knew that I needed it, right? Oh, jeez. I knew that no matter what happened, we had to find a way to enter that revenue stream. So you just keep trying and working with people until you find somebody you like. And that's it. You have to, one of the keys to why we do so well is that we try to be good to work with. I want you to make money and I want to make money, because as long as you're making money and I'm making money, we can both high five our way to the bank. Like, we're going to have a good time. Man, I'm thrilled, because when you help other people make money and you help them get what they want out of life, they're going to help you get what you want. So that's why I have all these partners who, dude, they literally want to help me. They want to hang out with me. They want to help me. They want to make sure that I make money, because they know that when I make money, they make money. And that's it. That's these partnerships, because eventually it's not just a business partnership. It becomes a friendship. And that's why I trust these people, because we're not just talking about business. Eventually you sit down and you're like, yo, dude, how are your kids? And like, you actually care. It's not just like, oh yes, man, how are your children? So yeah, dude, it's a leap of faith, but generally speaking, how I started doing that, and to your point of, oh, I'll spend this and I'll get it back. I wanted to spend with multiple different streams, and I said, hey, how's this one working? My entire life's a gigantic science project. Let's test this theory. Let's test that theory. I don't know which theory we're going to test, but I think this might work. All right. Well, yo, let's test it. Let's throw $3,000 at it. Okay, that worked. How do we make it better? That kind of thing. Yeah. And you'll eventually find the partners, as long as you're good to work with. Because if you're not good to work with, dude, nobody's gonna want to work with you. If you're, pardon my French, if you're an asshole, like, dude, literally nobody was going to want to help you make money, because they're not going to want to answer your phone call. So I try to do the best that I can to treat everybody with respect, so they want to answer my phone call, and that's how we've got in here, I think, at least.
And you mentioned even earlier in the conversation about talent, and so you guys have, you must attract talent to your company, and in what you were just saying, in being good to work with, maybe that's also being good to work for. How do you guys attracting quality talent to your company?
I think we just have a really good culture. We don't want everybody. Basically, so at 23 years old, I was doing really, really good at this job, and I was making a lot of money, and I broke like 200,000 or whatever per year. And I'm 23, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm king of the world. And all of a sudden I realized, wait a second, I'm not any happier having more money. This is really silly. I thought for sure I was going to be happier. So then I realized money's just kind of a byproduct. And I started measuring my success in how many people succeeded with us, and, how many lives that we changed. And all of a sudden, that kind of energy permeated the entire office. So I wanted to make sure my sales manager won, right? And he's like, he flat out told me, he's like, John, you wanted to make sure I won. So I really want to make sure that these guys win, so I can pass the torch, so all these guys are winning. So, we just have that, dude, at our Christmas parties, we talk about what did everybody accomplish that year. I have 3 rules. Take care of your clients, because if you take care of your clients, everybody's going to win. Then it's make money, and then it's achieve life goals. The idea is that you have to take care of your clients, because that's the essence of everything we do. Then I want you to make money, because without money, dude, you're going to starve, and you're just going to have a terrible life. Don't be a lazy whatever. There has to be a standard of excellence. And the last one is achieve life goals, because you could have a lot of money. You could also go blow it all up your nose and be broke a year later, which is, it's very prominent in this industry. And I hate that crap. I literally hate it. And so I look at everybody and I say, these are your things. Are you willing to do this? Because if you're willing to work, I'm willing to work with you. And then, everybody high fives their way to the bank. And that's just how we attract people. I work as hard, if not harder than everybody else. And they literally match me. We're all literally running together. And so like all of our key managers and everybody, people like to work with us. That's literally it. We just want it to be a good place to work where you can be proud of what you do. And that's why I have so many good people.
Awesome, man. What do you think the greatest insight is that you can share with our audience that has helped you find success in your roofing business?
Greatest thing. I'd literally go back to, I look at a lot of, I think you actually have to love people. I think you have to genuinely care about your people, and they have to be important to you and your goals. I look at the guys that I look up to, and, Eric Hunter doesn't know who I am, but he and I are friends on Facebook, and, Steve Soule and all these guys. I look at the kind of culture that they built, and they celebrate people. They celebrate accomplishments. You want to get up and work at that company. You want to be part of that team. There are people from all over the nation who want to go work with those guys, like literally elites. And I kind of looked at that, and we're a much, much smaller version of that. I think the main point is that money is a byproduct of success, not your main goal. And if it's your main goal, then I don't know if you'll ever be happy. So that's the main thing. We can talk about marketing, we can talk about production, we can talk about sales, we can talk about collections, we can talk about CRMs. I don't care. But if at the end of the day you don't really, like the air quotes of what's your why, it's so memey nowadays, but it's like, this is fact. What is your baseline? What do you want out of life? If you can figure that out, and you can figure out how to motivate others into getting what they want out of life, Zig Ziglar used to say, you can have everything you want out of life as long as you help enough other people get what they want out of life. And that's it, man. You just gotta care about people. I don't think you're ever going to be successful in this industry, because eventually, you might have success for one storm, maybe two storms, but then everybody's going to leave you. They're literally going to hate you. They will eventually hit your guts. And, I've experienced that firsthand with some of my previous employers, and everybody just moves on. It's people over profit. I've been trying to say that for like a few years. I genuinely care about people over the profit. And if you figure that out, and you care more about helping people than you care about making money, the money was literally just going to come at you. It's going to be like, yo, come on. That's my general sentiment. If I could give anybody advice.
That's awesome. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. If you would like to generate more sales through your digital marketing efforts, please visit roofermarketers.com and get a copy of the book, Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors: How to Triple Your Sales and Turn Your Roofing Website into an Online Lead Generation Machine. Also, check the training section of the website for guides on everything from running effective pay-per-click ads to how to properly set up your Google My Business listing. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. Thanks for listening.